Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Nonstop Vision Train Global Art Jam. We're on board right now with a fantastic crew from all over the world, gearing up for the next round of the ViTra Academy 2023 fall term. And we're stoked to be here with some of our teachers and some of you that are going to be joining us. And if you're not 100% on board yet, maybe you will be after this. My name is Amanda Sage, and I am here with my dear friend and co-steward, Alicia Sacred Heart.
Choo-choo!
Of the ViTra Academy and the Vision Train, sister projects here, grown out of this time of great change during 2020. So we're going to give you a little background here of how we got to where we are now and this awesome program that we have coming up this fall. And yeah, ViTra Academy. What are we about? What is this? ViTra is an evolution of a golden thread of artist guilds, carrying a legacy of transmission by practicing masters to curious students. Conceived through a radical global shift, it is a response to the call for a container of creative, independent education and exchange. ViTra carries many meanings in different languages, though in essence, it is wisdom, knowledge, and points towards the way of the sage. At ViTra, we view the arts as sacred, relevant, and critical to our lives. We honor tradition while embracing creative innovation as vehicles for human evolution and global transformation. We got some lofty goals here, but nothing that we can't achieve when we step up to the canvas, step up to the potential of creativity and being vessels for that transmission. So this all started in many ways. It's way older than any of us. This is a long line of legacy here. And I had the opportunity to study with Ernst Fuchs and Michael Fuchs. And this is a photo of me with them probably about a decade ago in the Gallery 10 in Vienna, Austria. And Ernst Fuchs, this guy here on the left, he is one of the founders of the movement called Fantastic Realism. And he is, our dear friend Alex Gray coins him as one of the godfathers of visionary art. And I had the beautiful opportunity to work with him for over 10 years as an assistant and studied with his son, Michael Fuchs, for a couple years before that. And both of them have been wonderful mentors along the way to many of us. Ernst Fuchs isn't with us anymore, but Michael Fuchs has come and taught with the ViTra Academy a couple times, and we look forward to having him back in the spring. And we wouldn't have gotten to this point if it weren't for Lawrence Caruana, this guy right here, and Florence Menard. I don't think she's in this photo. And this gathering that started in 2009, actually, in Italy as the summer seminar. And out of that grew the Vienna Academy of Visionary Art, which was active for about 7 years in a central location in Vienna, Austria. And this is where I had the wonderful opportunity to meet Alicia Sacred Heart. And this was, man, this is like a magical container of creatives coming from around the world to study with various masters. And here's Florence and Lawrence. And this was during, I think this was my seminar 2017. It was a 5-week container. We would go on real deep dives together. And it wasn't just in Vienna that I had the opportunity to teach and gather in community and paint together. Also at the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors in New York, where I'll actually be returning with my partner Joe Bob in a couple weeks for the Mixtec Mystics revival after 3 to 4 years off. And this has been a big part of how our community has come together, as these kind of workshop containers all over the world. Costa Rica, Australia, Los Angeles. This is was one of the last ones that we did before the world shut down in 2020. This was Painting with Light. And, you know, it was through this community that had been building over at least a decade that the Nonstop Vision Train started. I put out a call on March 24th, 2020, and invited everyone, all the friends and artists that I knew who had heard me talk about the train before as this beautiful metaphor and meme, to take us back on the tracks in this journey of regeneration and reconciliation and remembrance, as this grand mission to use art as a tool for transformation, and that we were incredibly important as painting the signposts of the future to get ready and help others see what was possible, and to open those portals into the potentiality of a world that works for all. And so we put out this call, and we started this Zoom call that we're on right now. The same meeting ID has been going for over 3 years, and thousands of artists from around the world jumped on board, and under the invitation to create work that the most powerful work they've ever created. We got together and supported each other in that, in a safe environment. And we, you know, it's a training ground. Wherever you're at, we can always keep advancing and learning new things. And what a beautiful way to do that in a container of mutual respect and inclusivity. Yeah, to support the sowing of these seeds to blossom in a way that maybe we couldn't do on our own. And we could do, though, knowing that we're a part of this tribe, this global tribe that's lighting up like this mycelium web, these little mushrooms just blossoming up into like, yes, let's do this. I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm going to be I'm going to answer to the call, the call, that whistle. I'm going to step up, and I'm going to share my gold and share my gifts. And so this is a silly photo, of course, of us, a screenshot of us playing. But this became, this international creative space station of community, of weaving this web. And out of this, we learned how to use these tools to begin gathering and teaching online. And to be honest, I'd never done this before. I knew it was possible, but when we had to shut down everything, we couldn't travel. I couldn't travel to Italy for the seminar in April. And the school in Vienna, the Vienna Academy, had to close. We decided to step in and help our friends. We're like, man, we got this train going. Let's go. I called all the different artists that had taught at the Vienna Academy, and I said, let's each give a little workshop, a little glimpse into what we're doing, and make a fundraiser. And so I asked Alicia, who had jumped right on board too in the beginning of the Vision Train, and she said, let's organize and structure this. And we had the Vision Train going 24/7. Like every trip was hosted by a conductor. And I was like, Alicia, let's see if we can do this workshop series. And she's like, let's do it. We can do this. And we learned as we went, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had been working on and off with the Vienna Academy for a few years at this point, and I was working administratively, but I really had not ever produced any classes on my own. So this was the very beginning stages of um, figuring out how to produce these classes online. And that took a lot of responding to feedback from all of you. Thank you to everybody that, took those classes with us, and really that was ultimately to help support the Academy through that transition. I also worked independently with a couple of artists outside of those fundraiser workshop series. Amanda and I produced 2 online seminars that year. We worked with Tony Taylor, Christina Lazar, Michael Fuchs, E.T. Anderson. That's just to name a few. Stefan Lucas in his Grounded Visions. And many of these teachers then, once we really formed the Academy, Amanda and I came together and we thought, man, we've been doing all of this production, and it really deserves to be honored with a name and to be birthed into something new. And so after a lot of planning and endless conversations, in February of 2022, we officially opened ViTra Academy. And we came to ViTra as a name because it's ultimately a meme of the vision train, ViTra. And in our explorations around that word, we ended up learning what that word means to other cultures. And it was also so deeply in alignment with what we were aiming for, that it felt like a cosmic thing had happened when, for me anyway, when we came to that name and then birthed the school. And our first term was in spring of 2022. We had a fabulous business and art course, The Thriving Artist, with Anya Amador. We had an incredible digital illustration and animation course with Lisette Murphy called Profound. Our other main courses were Structure and Flow, which was a sacred geometry course with Crystallize. And we had a 12-week graphite drawing course called Grounded Visions with Stefan Lucas. And basically all of those are either now already available for replay for you. We've remastered all the recordings, and or they're about to come out. Grounded Visions is about to come out here within the next month or so. And then we had we just packed that term full, you guys. We had countless lectures and journeys and meditations. Amanda taught another 6-week online seminar that was called Regeneration, which has also been remastered, and we're about to release at the end of this year. We really went for it. And then we had a little bit of a break in the summer. We came back and did another one last fall, and we did scale it back a little bit, but we were really going for it. And these are all the classes that we did. We worked with Lisette Murphy again on a fabulous course called Image Word Mystery. Amanda did Paint Your Light Tree, which has already been released. It's been remastered and released. It's available now on our website. We worked with Morgan Mandala on Spirit Matter. Christina Lazar, who was teaching with us this fall, we worked with her again for an awesome 1-day course called Mythology and Monsters. Branding for Artists with Miles Seiden. I mean, we had Bridget Marlin come in for a lecture. I mean, you guys, and this fabulous Dreaming Awake course with Kevin Campeau. We're still in the process of remastering that one. But I mean, Meditative Art Mondays. Every Monday we had a session with Shanita King, just trying to make sure I get everybody in there. And Carrie Ann Bada came back and taught her second lecture with us. She also taught with us in the spring. And I'm so proud of what we have put together online for all of you. And the feedback from everyone as well has been incredible and really beneficial for us to be able to move forward and continue to produce offerings that will support you in your creative journeys. Then we also last year, or earlier this year, we produced our first in-person workshop again after 3 years of being in isolation and working all online. We finally were able to come back into the studio physically in the same physical container together. And we worked with Mark Henson, and him and Amanda taught Mechanics of Nature, which was a 5-day painting seminar in San Francisco. We partnered with Maracuya Gallery and Mona Lisa. Big shout out to Mona Lisa there. And that also birthed so many ideas for what we want to continue to produce and bring to you guys in the future. But that really then leads us into what we are up to right here, right now. And that's our fall 2023 term, which starts on October 2nd with our first Vision Train Community Connections call and ends on December 4th with the last one. I put together a few calendar graphics, and you won't be able to see these, but you'll find them on our website. At www.vitra.academy. Every month we've got a weekend workshop and a couple of other offerings, a lecture, a meditative course, and a masterclass review for you to choose from. All of our courses are available for registration independently. Most of them also have payment plans, as well as in a full package, discounted package for everything, which we will start with Amanda's masterclass review next Saturday. Each class has 8 seats available that she will be offering digital markups. Maybe Amanda, you'd like to share about that on your own.
Yes. So I've switched over here to the website. If you go over to ViTra.academy, you'll find everything here, especially for our new term right here on the home page. Each class, each course has a page that's dedicated to it where you can learn more. And for this masterclass review series, I was really thinking about what to do this fall, and instead of doing a whole journey like I did last year and the past years, I decided to focus on the reviews. This was a part of what I would do during my full classes in the past, and instead, like, ask anyone, like, if you studied with me or not. I mean, I think it's ideal if you have already, to share, to choose one of your works that you're wanting some support on, and to put it up for a constructive critique, basically. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be taking the piece that you give me, and I will be doing a digital, making digital suggestions ahead of time, and will then live share my suggestions and give that review. And you can join with a review ticket. There's only 8 tickets per class, and there's 3 different classes. And those are $88. But then you can also just come as a community ticket and learn so much from all the different examples. And what I'll be doing is I'll be giving a presentation for the beginning of each one, that will give you more of a sense of like how I work. And so if you're just wanting to like dip your toes in and you haven't studied with me before, you'll learn so much just coming to these classes. And you may want to, by the last one, submit a work to have that reviewed. I'm generous in my suggestions, and generative. Like I really believe in going forward, and sometimes we have to sometimes we have to let things go. There's a bit of a sacrifice when it comes to painting. But here's an example of Nico Latola, who's actually here on the call with us today too. He had given this piece, this was through a Paint Your Light Tree workshop, and had sent in some questions for a review. And I did this digital mock-up of suggestions on how to go into color. And I have here on the website, you can see the time lapse of how I developed it. And so these are the kinds of things that I'll be showing in class and I'll just walk you through my process of like what I would do next. And I find that that can really help us get unstuck. It's a pretty big push. So here he is with the final piece. He made a beautiful print series of this painting. And here's another example from Akemi. She studied also with me during the Paint Your Light Tree class, and she had submitted this piece, and I did this digital mock-up as a suggestion on going deeper into her underpainting, which of course, like you'll understand more of these terms if you've studied with me already. But it's a long process. Many of my classes, you know, people come back again because it just keeps getting deeper. That's my experience with painting in general. Like the more you go into it, the more it reveals. And painting is just such a beautiful thing. So here we are. You can learn more about me here. Registration options. There's 3 different classes, and you can do all 3, and you can just do one if you want. Of course, we're suggesting you jump on board for everything that we're doing this fall. And up until today, I think is the last day to get the early bird option, which gives you a big discount on the whole term. But you can just sign up for one. So November 3rd, December 2nd, and then the one that is the soonest coming up here is October 7th. And I know we still have a few spots left. So would love to see you there. And I really look forward to this journey with you. So we have the fall early bird, and then you can also do a payment plan of the whole term with us. So yeah, excited. I hope you'll come join me.
Yeah, and you know, I have to say, as many of these group reviews as I've sat in with you, Amanda, I myself still learn every single time. They're so beneficial, and they're fascinating, honestly. Even if it's not your own work, they're absolutely fascinating to observe. I've had the opportunity to lead a few of them, but the way that you use Procreate and do these digital mock-ups is incredibly beneficial, and it really helps us see what it is that you're talking about. So it's and to have your work be worked on by you, but your painting is actually still intact and only your hand has touched it, is also something that, you know, is super cool about the process too, because we get to see what your hand would do with the painting, but our painting still has only been touched by us. So anyway,
yeah.
I won't keep rambling about that, but I'm super excited about these sessions and highly recommend, even if you don't have a piece that you're ready for critique on, pop your head in on those sessions, because you will learn a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And the next course that begins chronologically is this fantastic course with Christina Lazar called Visionary Beasts, Mythical Creatures in the Miche Technique. And I've been working with Christina Lazar now for, she's been giving the Mythological Cafe lectures on the Vision Train since 2020, but we produced our first course together in 2021. So I think this is about our 4th time working together, and it is always such a pleasure, Christina. So glad to have you here with us today as well, and to hear you share about your course.
Yay, thank you. Hang on, it might be a little loud in here. Let me take you into the other room now that I'm now that I'm just saying stuff. It's breakfast time, so yeah. So I'm really excited to do this. It feels like a great kind of next evolution of what we've been kind of building. So, you know, we kind of started just talking about the mythological, then really kind of diving into an exploration of monsters and kind of creating our own monsters last fall. And so this just seems like the next logical step is to, you know, like, let's not just talk about it, let's paint it. So it's going to be 2 weekends with a Wednesday in between. And during those 2 weekends, we're just going to, the first weekend, we're going to build up the you know, whatever creature we decide. So you get to pick whatever creature you'd like. I'm still on the fence as to whether I'm really leaning into a griffin. I just haven't painted one before, and it just feels like the right thing to do. But you can do a dragon, a unicorn, any kind of chimera, any kind of mythical beast from, you know, any mythology around the world. You can make one up, you know. But part of what we're going to talk about is, okay, so, you know, what if we're going to paint something that isn't real, right? There's still so many things in the, you know, like, quote unquote real world that we can use as inspiration. So if I'm doing a griffin, right, like, I'm going to get my references to be an eagle probably, and a lion. And so I can, you know, I can either just straight up Photoshop that together, or I can just have these two things as I'm kind of drawing what I'm working on. So instead of just, you know, I love kind of coming up with things just from my mind, but for me, at least, when I want to paint something, I really lean into kind of an imaginary realism. So I want it to look like it's a real creature. Oh, talk about a real creature. Here's a real creature. So, you know, so we're going to talk about, like, how do you make something that's, like, quote unquote unreal into something that's real? And so that's going to be a lot of, like, how we're going to kind of build it out in the first weekend. And then the second weekend, we're going to do color and kind of how to finish that up. This is super fast. And just as Amanda was saying, you know, like, you really, there's so much to learn every single time you do this. And so there's just way too much to pack into such a short time. So there'll be plenty of time to, you know, like, this is just a dipping your toe in. And, you know, I'm definitely available for, you know, send me a message, as we're working on this. Like, we're just gonna kind of go through it and see where we end up. But it'll be a fun October perfect visionary beast dive. Not even deep. I wish it was a deeper dive, but a very brief dive into something really, really fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'm really excited to see what everybody brings to the table and creates, and it'll be a lot of fun. So
Yes, and I also think, you know, just to mention that you'll also have the opportunity to share your work and get feedback from Christina on those Wednesday sessions.
yeah.
So there's 2 Saturday sessions, and that are going to be the technical courses. And then the Wednesday sessions are actually group reviews, where you have the opportunity to submit your work with any questions that you may have and receive feedback from Christina about your piece. So yeah, not only will there be direct transmissions, but then also the opportunity for you to have one-on-one connection with her about your piece specifically.
Yeah, and I want to add in too, Christina and I work in some similar ways, though slightly different. And this is something that is really important about the Mish technique, and how, like, so many different artists do have, like, these subtle differences, and you will too. This is just like an approach to developing an image. And the more you work with it, the more you will find your way. And there is no one right way. And what's cool about the online classes is that there's so much more information packed into these in many ways than even the in-person ones. I mean, it's like in person, you get a transmission that's different, of course, but you have more time to work on your piece, even though the class time isn't as long.
Right.
And so it's all about your application. Like, how deep do you want to go? And you can come back to the recordings as well. So I totally recommend anybody out there curious about the Mish technique and creating mythological creatures. Man, this is going to be amazing. The next best adventure with Christina is ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I was totally going to say that too. And I was, that's exactly correct. That's what's so cool about the Mish technique, that, you know, I think at some point you know, it's fun to learn all the various different types, because there are a lot of different types, and that's the truth. And so it's great to kind of go through and learn all of them, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up developing your own way of doing it, you know? And so it's you know, it's the gift that keeps on giving, you know, and it's such an incredible technique, not only because it can be so personalized and so personal as you're working with it, but it's, you know, every single painting you come to has, you know, its own kind of Mish technique world you can build every single time. So I don't know of many other techniques that are so choose your own adventure to some degree. And that's partly why I think it's just, you know, I personally keep on coming back to it. I know, Amanda, you do too. So, and it's you know, just a great way to kind of expand, even if it's not something you paint with all the time. I find that even just knowing how it functions, you know, in its kind of DNA, informs everything else you do. So yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Christina. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
this. So anybody that signs up for the early bird, you get to do all of these adventures together, or you can also do the full, you know, you can do a payment plan of the full term, but you can do this as a solo adventure if this is like the only thing you want to do. Just putting that out there.
Yes, and this course also has a payment plan just for it alone. So if you just want to register for Visionary Beasts, then you can, there's also a payment plan available for you, a 3-month payment plan available. Yeah, super excited. Thank you, Christina.
So which one are we doing next? Are we going to creative empowerment?
Yes, exactly.
Creative empowerment. Okay, Seth, we're coming back to you. This one, guys, stick around for this, because you don't want to miss that. We just have in the presentation, it was set up in a little bit of a different way. But we have Veronica Anderson in the house.
Yeah.
She is amazing, and we're so excited to be working with her on, yes. You want to share a little bit? Alicia first, or?
Yeah, well, I just thought it was so beautiful, because just yesterday we had someone comment on Instagram saying that they were looking for programs specifically about healing from their fear programs, you know, that they're experiencing in the creation of their work. And I thought it is just so beautiful for someone to even speak that request out loud. And I felt so excited to be able to tell her that we actually are offering a course exactly for this. And that is Creative Empowerment, Inner Resilience for the Sensitive Soul with Veronica Anderson. And I'm also really proud to be working with Veronica and Harlan, that you'll hear from next, that are some of our cohorts from Design Science. It's also been a dream of ours to start weaving the Design Science and Vision Train visions together. So yeah, I'm super excited to also introduce you to Veronica Anderson. If you have not met her before, you're in for a treat.
Thank you so much, Amanda and Alicia, for that beautiful, warm welcome. Yeah, Christina was also at one of our workshops on creative empowerment, which we ran in August. And she says, I did one of the sneak peek sessions last month, and I cannot recommend this enough. So amazing. It was really good to have you there, Christina. For sure, our experiences are really about weaving together as a community. So I'm looking forward to doing this again. We'll have a few different opportunities to experience creative empowerment together, and gain the confidence and deep trust to share our radical revolutionary visions with the world. And I myself am an architect. I practice visionary architecture, which is very much about grounding the new earth in the here and now through the spaces and places where we live and are. And I also, you can see on the screen, actually, this is a temple that I built here in Costa Rica where I live. And yeah, moving to Costa Rica was very much about going after my vision and the bravery and strength that it takes to actually go on a journey of creative empowerment. And so I've been really excited to be able to share the things that I've learned about embodying this vision that we have, where as Amanda said, we're painting the signposts of the future, and that's more than just putting brush to canvas. It's very much about taking these visions from our hearts and projecting them out into the world. And there's so much vulnerability that comes with doing that. And I would say that what's helped me the most on my journey has been mindfulness. And so that's what I'll be sharing with all of you who choose to join us in these experiences. And mindfulness is really about the ability to stay present and keep coming back when there are challenges. And we do that by nurturing ourselves through self-care. And as Alicia was saying, getting through those fear programs where like maybe we have a vision and we started working on it, but it stagnates because we're blocked by our own inner experiences, whether it's depression, anxiety, all of that I've danced with and more. And so the tools that we share in this creative empowerment workshop are about how do we create systems change from the inside out. So we'll be doing meditation, we'll be doing visualization and journaling. That is the main focus of the creative empowerment workshops. They're going to be 4 hours long. So it's lots of space to just deepen into your inner world and really stir up the muck and, as we call it in alchemy, the dross. That is actually the shadow, which is where our power comes from. And so these experiences are very much about awakening our power and learning to trust ourselves and these visions that are stirring within us that the world so deeply needs now more than ever. And this is really how we make our contribution to planetary regeneration, to building the new earth, however you want to call it, to grounding these new visions of the world. And this process that I guide, it's a 6-step process to awakening your inner power. It's really about creating congruence between our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs so that we can feel in alignment and actually manifest these visions. I have no doubt that every single person here has so many powerful visions that the world just desperately needs. And it's not about how do I get more visions? It's actually about how do I build that inner architecture to express those visions, to feel safe being a voice of the future, to feel safe enough to actually stand in my power and shine this light. Being a pioneer is a really scary thing, and making any change in your life, going through any transformation, can just challenge us to the deepest level. So my hope is that we'll be able to figure out a way for each and every person in this community to really be the change, to experience that vision of the world that works for all of life from the inside, starting with ourselves and then projecting it outwards. And this really starts with connecting with our own soul, with touching into the deep truth inside of our hearts. And there's so much I could share. I'm really looking forward to this journey together. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Stephen, for this beautiful testimonial that you put in the chat as well. I hope folks can read it. And there's so much on the website about all of the depths that we'll be reaching in the creative empowerment journey that we'll be taking together. There'll be sort of 3 different focuses, moving from at the beginning of the semester, working on your piece, what it's like to be at the birth phase, and then moving through that middle growth, building the body of your work, giving it form, and then what it's like to come to completion or release it as, sort of a stage that you're at. Maybe your work isn't done, but what's it like to really feel into where you are and look back on the journey. So I'm excited to be part of this semester for all of you, hopefully. And yes, thank you.
Oh, awesome. I'm so excited to hear about the progression of the 3 sessions. And here, now that we're at the bottom, it's worth saying that you can register for these sessions independently, as well as a group package, a discounted group package. That's outside of the fall term package as well. So there's a lot of different options for you to be able to pick and choose choose your own adventure through these offerings this fall. Also, creative empowerment, we wanted to, is in the attempt to make this as accessible to everybody as possible, we offered a sliding scale as well. So depending on your level of comfort, your financial comforts, you can pay $44 to $88 for each of these independent sessions, as well as the group package also has a sliding scale. If you can scroll down just below this to see the sliding scale for the bundle. And then, of course, as well as the early bird and payment plan options. Our early bird does expire at the end of today, the calendar day today, and then goes up to $700 for the full term. But this is over $300 in savings, the early bird package is right now. Yeah. And, like I said before, we met Veronica through Design Science, which is a fabulous program that was started through the Buckminster Fuller Institute. They're about to start their 3rd cohort. And our next teacher also we met through Design Science. So this is really exciting for us to have the opportunity to then, kind of bring that world to our larger community as well. If you guys are interested, I highly recommend checking out Design Science Studios. Super excited to work with you, Veronica, and thank you so much for your time and sharing about the course. And Harlan Emil Gruber is our next friend that we're going to hear from. He's giving 2 lectures that are based off of his book, Portal to the New Earth, which is also in 2 sections. So we're really getting a lecture on Harlan's book in many ways, and also things that he wasn't able to even get in the book. Considering that these are going to be 3-hour lectures, these are going to be packed full of fabulous information. The first lecture is on sacred geometry and the nature of reality. And the second part is conceiving future environments. Harlan, welcome. I'm so glad that you're with us today to hear about these 2 lectures and your fascinating work with writing this book.
Well, great. Thank you so much. And I know this is a bit of a departure since this school is more about, painting, but it's interesting because, there are in Amanda's paintings, and I just saw Mark Henson earlier this summer. He has a famous painting. There it is. So my book is ultimately about creating these environments, which you see, they're working over this hill into the new earth. And of course, Amanda has painted visions of this kind of new earth way of, being. And so that's what ultimately the book is about. That's what the second half of, the second part of the course is just going to go into a deep dive into a lot of visionary people talking about how we can create and build this new earth. And first of all, I just want to say, it's great to see both Veronica, who I know through Design Science Studio, and I think I got to sign up for her course after hearing that pitch. And then, of course, Seth, who I know from many years ago. We're saving the best for last. So let me go into what I'm going to be talking about here, which is this book that I finally wrote that covers, in the first half, we really go into detail on sacred geometry. So keep scrolling down and you'll just see this one image from the book that's shows the 64 tetrahedron grid. So besides learning about this geometry, which we've been seeing a lot lately, which is from Nassim Harameyn's work, we're going to go into a really thorough exploration of just the basics of three-dimensional geometry, which is one of the chapters in the book. But we also talk about sound and how that's the cornerstone of creation, and cymatics, and how a lot of these three-dimensional geometries are actual vibrational energy patterns that are created by sound. And we also go into the Earth grid, and the Earth energy grid ley lines is also embodies these geometric forms. So, geometry and sound are these fundamental aspects of reality of the universe, of where we're living. So the book the first one of the talks will talk about all of these underlying principles, and then how I employ them in the various interactive sculptural installations that I've been bringing to Burning Man and other festivals for many years now, since 2004. You can see the first one behind me, the Diamond Portal, which is based on the golden ratio. That's another thing that will be, talked about in detail to get a full understanding of what the golden ratio, the golden mean is, which of course is used, it's found all throughout nature, and it's found all throughout human creations. All ancient, paintings and architecture, it used the golden ratio. So, these are fundamental principles that could be used by any artist in their work. And then in the second part, as I was mentioning, we'll go into, and here's an outline basically of the various things covered in, this is just the first lecture covers all of these things: sound, what I was just talking about, three-dimensional order of space, the Earth's multidimensional energy body, and how they're all used in the portals. That's just the first lecture, jam-packed, lots of information. I'll be talking about a lot of things that I couldn't cover in the book because I kept the book very concise and on point. Here, I'll be able to go into detail explaining all of this. The second half, again, we're going to go into my interest in conceiving future environments. And this is an image of this 12-spiral city that's based on a sacred geometrical design that was discovered or repopularized by John Michel. But it starts off with Buckminster Fuller, which is how I ended up in the design science studio, and his understanding of the way the universe operates with his geodesic domes and other principles. And then it'll cover all of my favorite visionary architects that have incredible ideas of future environments. So I think, you get the idea. And as you saw in that first picture, for people that are just primarily interested in creating paintings, this will give you a lot of foundation, a lot of ideas, a lot of inspiration if you want to, be painting future images of this new Earth, of future environments. So here you can see this is the outline of the second course, which will be in November. Buckminster Fuller, and then all of these others: Paolo Solari, huge inspiration, Bruno Taut, Eugene Sui, and all of it's a list. It's not that many, but it's less than a dozen different architects and people, and then my synthesis of them all. And even at the very end, this idea of terraquaforming, where we're going to learn about Victor Schauberger, Theodor Schwenk, these really brilliant 20th century thinkers that were really tuned into types of science and understanding of nature that are still yet to be fully recognized and embodied by our modern world. And it'll be part of our new Earth. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, both Alicia and Amanda, for reaching out to me to be able to share. And here, that's a great illustration. That's Marshall Lefferts from his book Cosmometry, of this unified geometries, showing how both flowing patterns and these static geometries all integrate together. So please, I'm excited to be doing this. Is my first time teaching an online class. I've been doing a lot of presentations since I've been doing this in person, both in various cities when I travel and at Burning Man and other festivals. I just did 2 festivals in New Mexico the last few weeks. I was at Unison and Tribal Vision. And so, and look, there's Bruno Taut. This is from over 100 years ago, visions of crystalline cities on mountaintops, which he, is calling for everyone to come together, to build this together, as the spiritual organs of the earth, and recognizing all life is sacred, to build in the most beautiful, sacred, and harmonious way. So thank you. Hope you'll choose to join me for this class, and really honored and grateful that you've included me in the ViTra Academy.
Oh,
it
is our honor, Harlan. I find you absolutely a brilliant individual, and I'm so excited to learn more about your book and learn more about you as well as we continue this journey together.
And I see they're $44 each. I don't know if you want to offer a discount for both of them together, but that this website's already up, and it's still a deal if you think about it
Yeah,
for the
let's
amount of
do it.
information you're going to get. But if
Let's
you
do
want to
the
do the
package for
two for 77 to save $11, why not? But you can
perfect.
add that to the website, and for anyone in the future that will be watching this, even though it just shows each one individually 44, take them both, save a little bit of money, and join me for both.
Awesome. I'll put that on the page as soon as possible. I'll get it on there later today if I can. Awesome. Thank you, Harlan. And again, it's like to kind of uh, see the work that Veronica is bringing to us, as well as what Harlan's bringing to us. It's almost like the inner and outer architecture of some of these inquiries, and I think Harlan's work also builds so fabulously into the work of Seth MacMahon, who is his course is the crescendo, the finale of this term, and it's called dynamic compositions and multi-point perspectives. And I have admired, along with probably all of the rest of you, Seth MacMahon's work for years. And I really feel like, and then his work juxtaposed with the course with Christina Lazar really gives a sweet, well-rounded approach to realism as well as abstraction. And I think that, Seth, you're an absolute master at that. I'm so happy that you're here with us today. Welcome to ViTra Academy.
Thank you. Y'all can see me, right? I'm on.
You're on.
See in here. Okay, cool. I'm new to this Zoom thing, but I'm not new to teaching on the internet. In fact, I've had a course myself, and it's awesome to collaborate with you guys. Also, I would say in a lot of ways, I'm a student of Harlan's. We spent time in a similar close space at a period of time. I got to see his work and his sculptures and learned about platonic solids from him. And it was a really amazing experience. So I definitely suggest learning from Harlan. He's an amazing person to learn from. But for my own class, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on really fast dynamic compositions. And the reason why is because when I got my start as a professional artist about 13 years ago, the first 7 years of it were spent up in nightclubs in San Francisco and Oakland and at festivals. And I was doing a ton of live painting. And what I want to offer are fast, good compositions that will get your viewers engaged, but can also be made in like less than 4 hours. So you can go out tonight at the club or something, go experience your favorite music and bust out a canvas in 4 hours. And if somebody likes it, they can come buy it. And then you're had a great time at the end of the night and made a bunch of money. I mean, that's a fantastic feeling to get that. I want to share that with all of these students. So that's what I'm focusing on. We're going to be doing a number of different go-to compositions that I like symmetry, balanced asymmetry, the Dutch angle, fisheye perspective. And as far as perspective goes, fisheye is one of 6 different perspectives that I'll be teaching. So we'll be going through all of the different points of perspective. There is a 1 to 5 point perspectives. Some of these are from real life, like 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. And then when you get up to a 4 point perspective or a 5 point perspective, it doesn't exactly exist in this physical reality. So that's something that only exists inside of ourselves, which kind of reflects like hyperspace, dimensional place to be at. That's a really cool place to make art from. So I look forward to sharing that with you guys. And just empowering artists who are kind of maybe intermediate going into advanced to make um, good aesthetic paintings that are abstract that you don't really have to think too much in advance. I mean, a lot of these, for example, that's a simple shape that I have up on the screen right now that I'm painting. And it's just a big spiral, but the fact that it's at its base wide and it's going into this spiral vortex, it has the atmosphere expected it, and that's what I'm trying to get. Just simple compositions that have depth in them and that resonate with people. So that's what the focus is going to be. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been teaching for a long time now, and sharing with people what I like in my own artwork. Yeah, we're going to be doing acrylics, which are the fastest one. I paint with oils as well, but for this, we'll be focusing on acrylics and a little bit with spray paint. We're going to be using, if you guys want to get them, semi-transparent spray paints. And what that does, we'll be doing a underpainting in a monochromatic, and then we'll be glazing the whole thing super fast. You'll be surprised at how fast you're gonna go from no color to color. It's like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden the whole thing is gonna be beautifully colored. So that's something I want to share with you guys. If you don't end up getting spray paints, we're going to be also using acrylic glazing medium. I'm just going to be showing you guys how to quickly glaze something. And that is really useful information. If you want to just bang out something with 1 or 2 colors and then go over it with the glaze, that's a fast way of doing it. And yeah, my hope is to just get you guys so that you can bust out something in about 4 hours and be like, that's cool, I'm happy with it. That's our ultimate goal. So
And this is
I look
also
forward.
such a really a fascinating lens to look at the Miche technique, which I mean, almost, is kind of, it's an indirect painting method, right? And
Yeah,
the speed
yeah.
that you're working at and the materials that you're using are a really beautiful bridge, into some of the other teachings that we've had, not only within this term, but in our previous terms as well. I think that this fits in so beautifully as the we build the cornucopia of offerings here at ViTra Academy. I'm super stoked to bring you into this world. I love your work, and your enthusiasm is infectious in the most positive way. And I know that this is going to be a really great resource for the many artists that we work with that are they're out there live painting. They're running festival circuits, and they're working events in their hometowns. And I really, you're a master at this. And I think that all of the teachers that we're working with are absolute masters and spearheads within their fields of interest. So I'm super proud to work with you, Seth, and really excited for our students as well to have this opportunity. And I'm mostly excited to see the artwork that is going to be created through your teachings.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see that as well, what everybody creates. It's one of my favorite parts about it.
I think it's also worth mentioning that we have set your course structure, like the schedule of your course structure, up very similarly to the way that we had Christina's, where we have 2 Saturday sessions that are technical courses, and then 2 Wednesday sessions that are group reviews, where you, the students, are able to submit your work into for the group review, and then have Seth give you direct feedback on your work, which is priceless, basically. So this is our little calendar graphic overview of these next 3 months that we're looking at. And we do have, every month we have basically like a week that we've taken, a little bit of a break, because in the past we've packed these 3 months in, and sometimes that really, it just gets to be too much, for everybody. And so we really tried to be considerate in the ways that we laid out this schedule for considering people that may want to do take the full fall term and also be weaving this into their personal lives. So you'll see that these weekend workshops, Visionary Beasts, it's got the 2 Saturday workshops with the Wednesday in the middle, but then we take like a whole week off, a week and a half really, and then come back so that there's even more time for you to have had those first 2 technical sessions, as well as a feedback opportunity for you to do the last bulk of your work to then be able to be submitted for that group review on the last Wednesday. So you'll see that Visionary Beast, that weekend workshop, as well as Dynamic Compositions, both are set up in the same way, where they have, after their second technical course, then there's basically a week and a half that you have to work on your pieces before the final group review. And so we thought that would be nice to give you a little bit more breathing room as well, and to have that time to work on your paintings and not feel so rushed, the way that I know that these courses can feel sometimes,
Yeah. And I also just wanted to note that we are going to have a student portal forum place for you to be able to interact in between. So it's not just the group reviews, and you'll get to, give each other feedback. And it's so important to have that space as well.
Yeah, and we're moving our community, the ViTra student community over onto our Vision Train Mighty Networks. That way, as you're in there engaging in the student forum, you also have full access to the calendar of what's happening on the Vision Train, which are all free offerings, and they're going on all the time. We've got, constructive critiques happening every Tuesday on the Vision Train. I'm going to start free figure studies back up on Wednesdays. Then we've got book clubs and the daily visions calls. We have sessions that happen on there every week. We thought it was silly for them to be separate. It was great for us to bring them, would be great for us to bring them back together and host them all on the Mighty Networks, where you'll be able to see not only the calendar of events, what's happening for you as a student here within ViTra Academy, but then the broader Vision Train schedule and community as a whole as well. And just, to also help bridge those worlds between all of you, to help create greater opportunities for you all to be able to connect with one another, and see what each other's up to, be able to engage with each other about your pieces. That's one of the most beautiful things that has come out of the Vision Train are these incredible community connections. So you'll also see that we're having once a month VT community connections calls, and those will be for all Vision Train members. So people that have subscribed to be able to support the Vision Train, which is only $11 a month or $100 a year. And so we'll have those 1 month calls where Amanda and I will both be on there. We'll be there to answer any questions, but also for you guys to share about your work and for us to be able to just have that connection space, on face-to-face virtually. And then, so that's happening once a month and also for all of our students, of course, including students that register for any of the remastered courses. That you'll be receiving the info, the emails with the Zoom call info to be able to join those calls as well. And they'll also be posted within the Mighty Networks group chats and everything like that too.
Yeah, so much good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of the end of the slides and sharing the websites. There's plenty to explore. You can go onto the website and dive in a little bit deeper. And we're going to be updating and sharing more as we go. There's going to be 2, let's see, Veronica's going to be doing a deep design talk. I think this coming Thursday, so next week, and on the Vision Train. And that's something that I really recommend anyone that has any curiosity in the realm of creative empowerment, and I think just in general, as you know, with the work that we're attracted to here, I think it's going to illuminate a lot. And so I'm excited for her to be doing that. It was scheduled for last week, and I'm glad that we postponed it a bit. And Harlan also has a regular trip on the train the last Friday of every month. And that was yesterday, actually. And it was super inspiring. There was some really cool folks that showed up to talk about their visionary land-based projects and ideas, and the New Earth visioning. So that's the last Friday of every month, and that's on the train. That's something that anyone's welcome to come to. It's a free and open forum.
Yep, same
And
call we're on right now.
So, you know, so many ways to play. We're looking forward to seeing also the evolution of the conductors on the train. We're doing a conductor training next week as well, and amping up for some new iteration of what this community is, you know, experiencing, expressing, experimenting with. We see this in so many ways as a experimental training ground. You know, we sense a direction here.
Yeah.
You know, there's something that we know is feels familiar and resonant, and you know, it's all about our application and showing up and doing our part, playing our part in some way. And so yeah, do it. You know, it's like, how do we get through the resistance, you know, to step into the expressing and sharing the gifts and the gold that we have. That's a constant practice, and I think community can be very helpful in helping us get unstuck. And I feel like in many ways that this term is a lot about that, facing resistance and facing it with a kind of honesty and truth. Let's see the truth, and we can work with that. You know, if we're just caught up in all of the things that we are the unknowns, we can go down all kinds of rabbit holes and get lost. So let's work together with the truth and structure. You know, there's a degree of structure when we're playing with creating realms and worlds never before seen. And so I feel that with the dynamic compositions, with the masterclass reviews, and then, you know, the mythical, creating these mythical visionary beasts, and creative empowerment and portals to a new earth. You know, all of this is in this alignment. So it feels really inspiring to be at this next chapter with you. So Alicia, thank you for stepping up, and everybody that has come out for this and has been on board with us for a long time. Whether you're new or you've been with us, you know, we're so happy to have you be joining us. And share, please share with your friends. You know, this is something that often works best in that way. You know, maybe somebody pops up in the coming time, and you can also become an affiliate to help us spread the word. We're going to be sharing that in the next days, ways to get involved there. And that's a way for you to also earn credit towards any of these classes. And yeah, so much. And we would love to hear from you too. So please reach out to us with any questions. And yeah, does anybody want to share anything about your experiences with ViTra or the Vision Train before we jump off? Because I would welcome your voices. Not to put you on the spot.
Zach Dario's hands raised.
Oh, cool. Zach, jump on in.
Hi, how you doing, everybody? We all good?
Yeah, good to see you. Good to hear you.
You too. Hope everybody's doing well, and you're out there achieving and doing what you can, and keeping focused. Okay, right. I have a question. What do you think about if you have a vision, and you have a vision, do you think it's possible for someone else's like consciousness to kind of interact at a higher level of reality?
Oh,
If you have,
absolutely.
yeah, go ahead, Alicia.
Absolutely. I think that's the web, that's the energetic web of life.
I'm curious to reframe that though, too, to understand like if you have a vision for somebody else to like through, you mean sharing that? Does someone else, can that
Yeah,
ignite theirs in a deeper way?
yeah, for sure. I had this vision, and someone appeared to me in this vision, and she told me that she's seen me before.
I mean, this stuff's happening all the time as far as my experience goes. And there sometimes, the realm of visions has no linear kind of time, right? So things are they real people? Are they fictional? Who knows? Sometimes, yes, both. I mean, I think the realm of premonitions and dreams. I mean, this is something that we're all venturing into. The more that we are curious and pay attention.
Yeah, for sure. What was so probably something you really kind of you probably resonate with, Amanda, is when that kind of like happened, what I felt was this like familiarity of like when consciousness goes higher, there's a sense of memory, like you start to remember because the
And right. And I think that to bring it back to painting or creating sacred objects, creating work portals that can evoke a sense and a memory is something that we're up to here. And so I think the sacred geometry, that is inherent in nature, there's a lot of like the forms that help transport us. And so that's where the art is in many ways a great tool for that transmission to happen.
totally, it's how much you can bring back down, and for every type of like technique, especially with especially your mish technique, and there's so many different types of like techniques to actually bring that through, and
Right.
it's always about how well you can really kind of display what you see.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is I think through all of these different methods, like the goal in many ways is to access that channeling, that channeling medium. We turn ourselves into these little antennas. And the thing is if you try to figure it out all ahead of time, it is degenerative in some ways. I think it can be a guiding, like a sketch, a drawing can be a guiding direction. But once you get into the actual creation of the thing, which a drawing is too, it's a creation of a thing. But once you get into it, you open yourself up to being guided, the work itself to guide you. And that something happens that is beyond what you could even conceptualize before, if you give yourself to that. And I feel like a lot of these methods that we follow, the indirect painting methods, have a way of guiding us. And
Sure, it's like absolutely exactly what Amanda's saying. It's almost a way you've got to practice like particular muscles in your brain to really like bring that through. And the more you do it, the more you start to truly you start to envision where your kind of your direction of your artwork is actually going.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Zach. I know
Totally welcome.
for the sense of time, I want to just invite anyone else if they have something they want to share. I know Alicia has to get going here in a bit, but appreciate you so much, Zach. Thanks for bringing that up. Diving right into the deep.
Hey, yo, I got a cruise. I really look forward to being with you guys and making art. All right.
Oh, so
We're gonna
excited,
have a lot of
Seth.
fun.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Bye, Seth. Thank you.
Thank you to our instructors, Seth McMahon, Harlan Emil Gruber, Veronica Anderson, the fabulous Christina Lazar, and of course, the one and only Amanda Sage. It's always such an honor to be able to come together on these calls and just share about, like what we're up to anyways, but especially then, as we take these journeys and we take these steps together and get to know one another more and more. And I get to witness the incredible works of art that you all are making and witness such incredible transformations internally and externally. And it's an honor and an absolute gift to be able to share this space with you and to learn from all of you as well. We're creating educational opportunities here, but we're all learning from each other. It's so reciprocal. It's so and it's so regenerative too. And I always feel like so much clearer on what it is that I'm up to every time that we come into these spaces together. And I'm really looking forward to this. And if you guys have any questions, or you're like, man, I could really, I know there's a payment plan, but like I could really use a 6-month payment plan or whatever, if you just have any curiosities or thoughts around, your ability to be able to participate with us, I hope that you'll go ahead and email me at info@vitra.academy. I'm always happy to work with people that are interested, and we want to make these teachings accessible to everyone. And I wish that we could put them out there for free. And, we're working on different sponsorship opportunities so that we can have our Eternal Source scholarship program to be able to really make these teachings available to more adults and children as well. We have so many, different facets of this work that we want to be able to continue to develop and make accessible to all of you. So, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So really a lot of gratitude and thanks to you and also to Amanda and to our whole team, our whole social media team, our video editors and everything. This is a huge collaborative effort. And so we wouldn't be here without each other. And so I look forward to joining it together again in this space with you guys. Choo choo.
Right on.